What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats of every one of the weapons as well as their variants in Infinite Warfare. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the Titan. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so hopping right into the base stats of the Titan, we've got a damage profile of 30-23, which means in core game modes, it's going to be a 4 to 5 shot kill. Our rate of fire is 659 rounds per minute, which gives us a time to kill of 273 to 364 milliseconds. Now, in comparison to other weapons in the game, this might seem quite slow, but you'll see once we look at the range values that this is actually pretty solid. Our aim down sight time is standard for LMGs at 300 milliseconds, and the same thing goes for the sprint out time. It's also 300 milliseconds, which is standard for LMGs. Our reload add time is right around 2.5 seconds, which isn't too bad for LMGs. Our movement speed is standard at 90%. Magazine capacity is 100 rounds, and our total starting ammo, including the magazine that you spawn within your gun, is going to be 200 rounds. Getting into the ranges of the Titan, this is where this gun really excels. Like I was saying earlier, the time to kill isn't that exceptional, especially when you're looking at the up-close time to kill of only 273 milliseconds. But when you look at how far that range extends, you'll see that it is quite powerful because most of the other guns in the game are already dropped off to their minimum damage ranges when the Titan is still within its maximum damage range. So its 4-shot kill potential in core game modes, or its 1-shot kill potential in hardcore game modes, is right around 57 meters, which is going to be almost every gunfight you'll be finding yourself in, unless you're trying to stick to like sniper lines of sight. If you pop a suppressor on there, it reduces your range by 25%, which still gives you the same 4-shot kill potential as a base NV4 without a suppressor. And if you pop particle amp on there, it increases it by 20%. You can't even see it on this map because it extends that range so far that you basically never have to worry about getting a 5-shot kill. Unless, once again, you're trying to find the absolute longest lines of sight in the game, which simply isn't practical for this gun anyways. Moving on to headshots with the Titan, we get a standard multiplier of 1.1 for headshots, which gives us a headshot damage profile of 33-25. This means it has no effect within its standard 4-shot kill range, which is going to be 99% of the gunfights you find yourself in. And if you're in the 5-shot kill range, if for whatever reason you're able to land 4 shots in a row to the head, it will be a 4-shot kill, but that's simply not practical. So generally, without Faraday Slug, headshots are pretty much useless on the Titan. Once we pop Faraday Slug on though, we get a 1.35 multiplier to the head, which means our damage profile with that is going to be 40-31. This means that all it takes is one headshot mixed in with your other shots to reduce the number of shots it takes to kill by 1. So now within its standard 4-shot kill range, 2 shots to the body and 1 shot to the head will be a kill. Moving on to hipfire, the Titan is pretty much middle of the road for LMGs. As you can see, between the Raw and the Mauler, it falls pretty much right in the middle with hipfire. It's not terrible, but it's not something I would rely on by any means. As for recoil, I decided to do this test instead of firing a full magazine without stopping. That's not really a reliable test, so with this one, I was firing it just in little bursts, so you can get a better indication of what recoil is going to be like in an average gunfight. And as you can see here, the Titan has a moderate amount of recoil, and it tends to kick upwards as well as to the right. It's very predictable, and I find it's very easy to control as well. So for me, as long as your gunfights aren't completely across the map, I find recoil isn't too much of an issue, but as you can see there definitely is some recoil to deal with. And with that, we've wrapped up all of the stats for the base Titan. Now let's start moving on to the variants. And first up, we have a common called the Impact. The Impact just gives you Sharpshooter, which gives you increased damage range, and this increase is 5%. Overall, I would say this variant is completely unnecessary. Like you saw earlier, the Titan has an excellent 4-shot kill range, and most of your gunfights are going to be within that 4-shot kill range, regardless of whether or not you have this weapon perk. So I would say this variant is just a little bit redundant. Moving on to the next common, we have the Vial. And with this one, you just get Creeper, which increases your movement speed while you're crouched by roughly 25%. Again, I would say this variant is probably not going to be helping you too often, but if it's the only variant you have, it is slightly better than the base. Moving on to our first rare variant, we have the Warden. And the Warden gives you Jackpot as well as Haste. And with Jackpot, kills will grant an additional 10% score, which contribute towards your score streaks. Now keep in mind, score does not equal XP, so this doesn't help you rank up any faster, but it will help you get score streaks a little bit more effectively. As for haste, this one's pretty straightforward. It just gives you a roughly 3% increase to your movement speed. Getting into our second rare, we have the Reconnoiter. This one gives you Sensor as well as Sharpshooter. With Sensor, when you shoot enemy targets that don't have Ghost equipped, damage will cause them to show up on the minimap for your entire team, and it will show their position in real time. This effect lasts for a total of 3 seconds. Now, in addition to sensor, we once again get sharpshooter, which, like I said earlier, gives you a 5% increase to your range. Now, moving on to our first and currently only legendary variant, I do expect a nuke variant of the Titan to come in the somewhat near future, but currently we only have the Redeemer in the legendary category. With the Redeemer, you get Refresher, which a 5-player kill streak will restore 1 lethal and 1 tactical on your class, and it also gives you Focus, which reduces your idle sway significantly. It cuts it in half. So finally, moving on to the epic variant of the Titan, we have the Scout. With the Scout, we get Make It Rain, which gives you a built-in high-contrast Trojan sight, as well as Stability, which reduces your recoil. Now, the built-in Trojan sight isn't really all that exciting. It looks pretty much identical to the base iron sights with the Titan, but it highlights enemies now. I would say this really isn't much of an epic perk to be giving a gun, but I guess it's a nice little bonus over the base model. As for stability, this reduces your view kick by 3% and makes it a little bit more accurate. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for all of the stats of all the variants of the Titan. As for which one's my favorite, I actually go with the Redeemer most of the time. And the funny thing is, I don't usually run lethals or tacticals either, so I am completely wasting the one weapon perk which refills your lethal and tactical. But for me, I feel this is worth it for that focus weapon perk. Reducing your idle sway is very important with a gun like this, because this gun you're often challenging people at those mid to somewhat longer ranges, and sometimes I'm posting up on them just a little bit, long enough for my idle sway to be kicking in, and I like the fact that I don't have to worry about idle sway when I'm using this particular variant. I would say a close second is going to be the Warden, which gives you Sensor, and Sensor is an excellent weapon perk for not only you, but also your teammates. As for my preferred class setups with the Warden, I almost always have an elo sight on there. The iron sights aren't bad by any means on the Titan, but I just really got used to the elo sight, and I love my elo sight. And then normally I'll just run Quick Draw and Suppressor. I would say Quick Draw is a must-have on most of the guns in the game, especially the LMGs. And with this gun, you often don't notice any downside to using a suppressor, because even with a suppressor, it's relatively unlikely that you're going to be within the 5-shot kill range. One other thing that you should definitely be running on your classes, in my opinion, is going to be Gung Ho, because LMGs have that really slow sprint out time, and therefore it really sucks if you get caught sprinting. You're basically screwed because an SMG will kill you before you even have a chance to pull up your gun in the first place. So Gung Ho is very important, or as it is right now, you can use Synaptic, and that will pretty much eliminate your sprint out time, but this will be patched very soon. So now that we've covered the Titan, I do have the Auger that I still need to cover, and then we're done LMGs, but I might have to postpone that episode a little bit. The Auger is quite difficult to hand test because it has a variable sort of fire rate that ramps up over time, and therefore I'm going to try to wait for some more hard stats on that before I make an episode, because I want it to be done right. So we might skip over the Auger for now, and I'd like to know in the comments, should I move on to shotguns or sniper rifles for this gun guide series? Also, if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes of gun guides, I've already covered all of the assault rifles as well as all the SMGs. I will leave a link to that playlist down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.